Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Alma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. She had come here to clear her head, away from the sterile confines of the office where Carter's proposal ring still sat heavy in her desk drawer, a glittering reminder of promises she wasn't sure she could keep. The rooftop had always been her sanctuary, the place where she and Liam had shared stolen kisses under starlit skies, their laughter mingling with the distant hum of the city below. But tonight, the memories pressed in like uninvited guests, vivid flashbacks of Liam's arms around her waist, his breath warm against her ear as he whispered dreams of forever. She closed her eyes, letting the breeze carry away the scent of his cologne that seemed to linger in her mind, even months after their last goodbye. Down below, the streets buzzed with oblivious life, but up here, Hope felt suspended, caught between the pull of what was and the terror of what could be again. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, a text from Brooke, checking in with that maternal intuition that never failed, but she ignored it, needing this moment alone before the storm she sensed brewing on the horizon. Liam Spencer paced the length of his sleek apartment in Malibu, the waves crashing against the shore outside like the relentless rhythm of his regrets. Beth was tucked away in her room, lost in a world of fairy tales and stuffed animals, oblivious to the earthquake rumbling through her father's soul. He stopped at the window, staring out at the darkening ocean, his reflection superimposed over the foam-capped crests, a man adrift, handsome and haunted, with eyes that held too many what-ifs. Hope's face flashed before him, not the poised executive she'd become, but the vulnerable woman who'd once vowed her life to him, only for doubts and betrayals to fracture their bond like fragile crystal. He'd walked away, convinced it was for the best, that she deserved stability with Carter, someone who wouldn't waver like he had with Steffy. But Liam's health scare earlier that year had shattered illusions, a brush with mortality that forced him to confront the void without her. Doctors had called it a miracle, Grace Buckingham's twisted scheme exposed just in time, but the fear had lingered, sharpening his longing into something fierce and unforgiving. He picked up a photo from the mantel, him, Hope, and Beth on a sun-drenched beach, their smiles wide and genuine, and his thumb brushed over her image, igniting a spark he couldn't douse. Tonight, he knew, was the night he'd fight for their family, no matter the cost. Grabbing his keys, Liam headed for the door, his heart pounding with the certainty that some loves weren't meant to fade. At the Cliff House, Steffy Forrester Finnegan swirled a glass of red wine, the rich Cabernet mirroring the depth of emotions she rarely let surface. Finn was at the hospital, pulling another late shift, leaving her alone with the echoes of her recent European escape, a futile attempt to outrun the chaos back home. She'd returned to LA invigorated, ready to reclaim her role at Forrester, but the whispers of Hope's faltering engagement to Carter had reached her ears like unwelcome sirens. Steffy set the glass down on the marble counter, her manicured nails tapping a staccato rhythm against the stone. She and Hope had forged an uneasy truce after Liam's ordeal, bonded by shared terror over his brush with death, but old rivalries simmered beneath the surface, ready to boil over at the slightest provocation. Liam had always been the fulcrum, tilting their worlds toward collision, and now, with rumors of a possible reunion swirling like smoke, Steffy felt the familiar sting of protectiveness. Not for herself, Finn was her anchor, solid and devoted, but for the fragile piece she'd built, for Kelly and Hayes who deserved stability, and yes, even for Liam, whose heart she knew better than most. She glanced at her phone, a message from Ridge lighting up the screen. Family meeting tomorrow. Hope's line is back. Be prepared. Steffy's lips curved into a wry smile. Prepared for what, exactly? Sighing, she typed a quick reply, then slipped into a silk robe, stepping onto the deck, where the salty air whispered promises of confrontation. Whatever came next, she'd face it head-on, as she always did. The next morning dawned crisp and unrelenting, the kind of LA day that masked underlying tensions with deceptive warmth. Hope arrived at Forrester Creations early, her heels clicking against the polished floors like metronome beats counting down to destiny. The boardroom hummed with pre-meeting chatter, sketches of the revived hope for the future lines spread across the table like battle plans. Brooke hovered nearby, her eyes sharp with concern, squeezing Hope's arm in silent solidarity. "You've got this, sweetheart. Whatever happens with Carter or Liam, we'll handle it together." Hope nodded, forcing a smile, but her mind wandered to the rooftop flashbacks that had plagued her dreams. Liam's hand in hers, the world narrowing to just them. Carter entered then, his presence commanding yet gentle, leaning in to brush a kiss against her temple. "Morning, beautiful," ready to dazzle them. His voice was steady, but Hope caught the flicker of uncertainty in his gaze, the unspoken question of her heart's true allegiance. She murmured a response, her thoughts fracturing as Liam slipped into the room last, his eyes locking onto hers across the expanse of mahogany and ambition. The air thickened, charged with history, and as Ridge called the meeting to order, Hope felt the first tremor of the reunion she'd both craved and feared. Ridge's voice boomed with paternal pride, outlining the resurrection of Hope's fashion line, but Liam barely heard a word, his focus laser-sharp on the woman 2 seats away. She looked radiant, her blonde waves cascading like sunlight, but shadows lingered under her eyes, echoes of the same sleepless nights that had haunted him. When the discussion turned to marketing strategies, Liam seized the moment, his tone casual yet laced with intent. "Hope, your vision for this collection, it's inspired. Reminds me of that rooftop pitch we did years ago, the one that started it all." Heads turned, the room's energy shifting as memories surfaced unbidden. Hope's cheeks flushed, her fingers tightening around her pen. "Yes, well, some things never change," she replied softly, her voice a thread pulling him closer. Carter cleared his throat, interjecting with logistics, but the undercurrent was palpable, a silent dialogue that spoke volumes. Steffy, seated at the far end, observed it all with arched brows, her silence more eloquent than any outburst. As the meeting adjourned, Liam lingered, catching Hope's elbow gently. "Can we talk? Just for a minute. For old time's sake." She hesitated, glancing at Carter's retreating form, then nodded, the weight of inevitability settling over her like a familiar shawl. They stepped into the corridor, the door clicking shut behind them, sealing them in a bubble of hushed intensity. Liam's hand lingered on her arm, his touch electric, reigniting sparks long banked. "Hope, I know things are complicated. Carter's a good man. He's been there for you when I couldn't. But seeing you today, hearing your ideas, it hit me how much I've missed this. Us. Beth talks about you every day, you know. She draws pictures of the three of us, like nothing ever broke." Hope's breath caught, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Liam, don't. You can't just waltz back in after everything. I tore up our marriage license once because of you and Steffy. I watched you kiss her, felt my world shatter. And now? Carter wants forever, marriage, kids, the whole life. But every time I close my eyes, it's you on that rooftop, promising me stars." He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a fervent whisper. "I was wrong to let you go. My health scare, it showed me life's too short for regrets. Beth needs her mom full-time, not weekends and holidays. We need you. I need you." Hope shook her head, but her body betrayed her, leaning into his warmth. "What if we hurt each other again? What if it's just nostalgia talking?" Liam cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. "Then we'll fight for it. Every day. Say you'll give us a chance." In that suspended moment, with the hum of the office fading to white noise, Hope whispered, "Maybe, just maybe," her lips brushing his in a tentative kiss that tasted of salt and second chances. Word of their encounter spread like wildfire through Forrester's hallowed halls, reaching Steffy's ears as she reviewed fabric swatches in the design studio. Ivy, fresh from Sydney with her easy Australian lilt, had dropped by to discuss jewelry collaborations, but even she sensed the shift. Trouble in paradise? Ivy teased lightly, but Steffy's jaw tightened, her blue eyes flashing with a mix of exasperation and resolve. Not trouble, history repeating itself. Liam and Hope at it again. As if we haven't danced this tango a dozen times. Ivy chuckled, shaking her head. You sound like the voice of reason. Ever think of playing matchmaker instead of referee? Steffi paused, considering the notion, a flicker of empathy softening her edges. Hope had been there during Liam's crisis, her face pale with worry in the hospital waiting room, and Steffi had seen the raw love in her eyes. But love wasn't enough. It needed armor against the storms. Maybe I will, Steffi murmured, pocketing her phone. Before they drag everyone down with them. Excusing herself, she strode toward the executive floor, her heels echoing like declarations of war. Or peace, depending on the angle. Hope retreated to the rooftop for air, her lips still tingling from Liam's kiss, her mind a whirlwind of guilt and exhilaration. Carter's text buzzed in. Lunch? We need to talk, and she winced, knowing the conversation loomed like a guillotine. But before she could spiral, the door swung open, and Steffi stepped out, poised as ever in a tailored white blazer that screamed untouchable. Hope, Steffi said evenly, closing the distance with measured steps. We need to chat. About Liam. About whatever fool idea of a reunion is brewing in that pretty head of yours. Hope straightened, defensiveness rising like bile. Steffi, this isn't your business. You've got Finn, your perfect life. Why meddle now? Steffi laughed, a sharp, mirthless sound that cut through the tension. Because I've been where you are, torn between what's safe and what's soul deep. Liam's my friend Hope, co-parent to Kelly. And Beth? She's caught in the crossfire every time you two implode. I saw you two in the hall. The sparks? They're real. But so's the fallout. Hope's eyes narrowed, old wounds reopening. Like when you kissed him in Italy. Or whispered annulments in his ear. Don't lecture me on fallout. Steffi's expression softened, just a fraction, the wind tousling her dark waves. Fair point. I've screwed up plenty. But this time, I'm rooting for you. For all of you. Just don't rush blind. They stood there, two women forged in fire and fashion, the city sprawling beneath them like a tapestry of their shared chaos. Hope crossed her arms, vulnerability cracking her armor. What makes you think we can make it work? Every time, something pulls us apart, you. Thomas, my doubts. Liam's health scares scared me straight, Steffi. I realized I can't lose him again. Steffi nodded, leaning against the railing, her gaze distant. I get it. When Finn told me about Liam's prognosis, I broke. Thought of Kelly growing up without her dad. It bonded us, oddly you and me, in that waiting room, holding coffee like lifelines. You're stronger than you know, Hope. But strength isn't blind faith. It's eyes wide open. Hope swallowed hard, the admission hanging heavy. Carter proposed last night. The ring's in my drawer. He's everything steady, everything I thought I needed after you and Liam. Steffi held up a hand, silencing her. Carter's solid, yeah. But is he the one who makes your heart race on rooftops? The one Beth draws stick-figure families with. Hope's silence was answer enough, and Steffi sighed, bridging the gap with unexpected gentleness. Look, I didn't come here to sabotage. Quite the opposite. If you're diving back in, do it right. No half measures, no what-ifs. The conversation stretched, words tumbling like confessions long withheld. Hope spoke of the flashbacks that haunted her, the rooftop proposal under a canopy of lights, Liam's vows etched in her soul despite the betrayals. Steffi listened, interjecting with her own scars, the annulment she'd signed in haste, the pregnancy that had tethered her to Liam forever in Kelly's laughter. We were kids playing at love, Steffi admitted, her voice raw. But you and Liam? That's the real deal, messy as it is. Just promise me, no more running when it gets hard. Hope met her gaze, the feud's embers cooling into something resembling understanding. And you? Stay out of it this time. No more triangles. Steffi smirked, the ice fully thawed. Deal. But if you hurt him, Logan, I'll bury you in bad press. They shared a tentative laugh, the sound foreign yet freeing, as the sun climbed higher, illuminating paths forward. Down in the parking garage, Liam waited by Hope's car, his nerves jangling like loose change. He'd overheard snippets from the meeting, Carter's clipped tone, Brooke's worried glances, and doubt gnawed at him, whispering that he'd arrived too late. But when Hope emerged, her steps lighter, resolve in her stride, his heart leaped. "Steffy found you," he said, more statement than question. Hope nodded, sliding into his offered hug, without reservation.
"She did."
And she said something, 5 words, actually, that stuck. Liam pulled back, curiosity piqued. "Oh yeah? Enlighten me." Hope's eyes sparkled with a mix of mischief and gravity. "Get it right this time?" He blinked, processing, then chuckled, the sound rumbling deep in his chest. Bossy as ever. But she's right. No more missteps, Hope. We're in this. Family, future, all of it. She rose on tiptoe, sealing the vow with a kiss that deepened the bond, tongues dancing in rediscovered rhythm. Carter watched from afar, his face a mask of quiet acceptance, before turning away, the chapter closing with dignity. Word count so far, approximately 1,850. As the afternoon unfolded, Brooke cornered Steffy in the atelier, her silk blouse whispering against the fabric bolts as she demanded details. "What did you say to her?" Hope came down glowing but confused, like she'd been given permission and a warning in the same breath. Steffy shrugged, pinning a swatch to a mannequin with precise jabs. "The truth, Mom. They're toxic together sometimes, but electric too. Liam's scare changed me. Made me see their endgame if they grow up." Brooke's eyes widened, maternal pride warring with worry. "And Carter? He's heartbroken, Steffy. Hope deserves happiness, not another roller coaster." Steffy paused, empathy flickering. "Carter will land on his feet. He's got that lawyer charm. But Hope? She lights up around Liam, like she does for no one else." Their dialogue wove through the room, a tapestry of family lore, until Ridge interrupted, his arms enveloping them both. "Enough plotting. Let's focus on the show." Hope's line, "It's a comeback story. Make it legendary." Meanwhile, in the Spencer mansion, Bill Spencer poured scotch for his son, the amber liquid glinting like captured fire. "So you're really doing this?" Diving back into the deep end with Hope. Liam nodded, sinking into the leather armchair, the weight of decisions settling comfortably now. "Dad, I almost lost everything. My life, my girls. Beth needs her mom, not co-parenting schedules. And Hope. God, she's it for me." Bill clapped his shoulder, gruff affection masking his own romantic scars. "Just don't screw it up like last time. Forrester women are fire. Beautiful, but they burn." Liam laughed, raising his glass. "Lesson learned. This time, we're building, not breaking." Father and son toasted to redemption, the clink echoing like a starting bell. That evening, Hope arrived at Liam's apartment, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder, Beth's excited squeal greeting her at the door. "Mommy, you're staying? For real?" The little girl's arms wrapped around her legs, tugging with innocent ferocity. Hope knelt, scooping her up, inhaling the sweet scent of shampoo and possibility. "For real, baby. Pajama parties every night." Liam watched from the doorway, his heart swelling to bursting. Dinner was chaos, spaghetti sauce splatters and giggles over board games. But it felt like home, the kind they'd lost and now reclaimed. As Beth dozed off between them on the couch, Hope traced Liam's jawline, her voice soft. "Steffy's words, they're my mantra now. Get it right this time." He kissed her forehead, murmuring, "We will. I promise." Outside, the waves whispered approval, the stars above winking like conspirators in their reunion. In the days that followed, ripples spread through their circles. Finn raised a brow over breakfast at the Cliff House, Steffy recounting the rooftop heart-to-heart with a grin. "You're turning soft, Forrester. Next, you'll be braiding Hope's hair." She swatted him playfully, but her eyes held truth. "Maybe. Turns out, enemies make the best allies when kids are involved." Across town, Carter confided in Ridge over golf, clubs swinging with pent-up frustration. She chose him. Again. But I'll be okay. Forrester needs me more than ever. Ridge nodded sagely. Love's a marathon, not a sprint. Your time's coming. Even Ivy, toasting with champagne at a rooftop bar, texted Liam. Heard the news.
Happy for you, mate.
Don't stuff it up. As the hope for the future show loomed, rehearsals buzzed with synergy. Hope and Steffy collaborating on hemlines, their banter laced with newfound respect. This neckline's too forgiving, Steffy critiqued, pinning fabric. Hope smirked. Like you, forgiving me for past sins? Steffy rolled her eyes. Water under the bridge. Just make it fierce. Liam hovered in the wings, coordinating with Brooke, his glances toward Hope laden with heat. One night, after hours, they stole away to the rooftop, the city lights a glittering audience. Remember our first time up here? Liam asked, pulling her close. Hope nodded, breathless. How could I forget? You in that ridiculous tie, me in panic mode. They kissed then, slow and searing, hands exploring rediscovered terrain. This is us, he breathed against her skin. Forever starts now. The fashion show was a triumph, gowns swirling like dreams on the runway, Hope's vision alive in silk and sequins. Backstage, amid cheers and champagne toasts, Steffy pulled Hope aside one last time. You did it. And them? Look solid. Hope hugged her impulsively, surprising them both. Thanks to you. Those 5 words, they're our North Star. Steffy pulled back, smirking. Don't get sappy. Now go. Reunite properly. Hope laughed, weaving through the crowd to Liam, who swept her into a dance amid the throng, Beth clapping from Brooke's arms. Months blurred into a mosaic of normalcy laced with passion. Family barbecues at the Logans, playdates with Kelly where Steffy and Hope swapped parenting hacks over coffee, Liam's steady hand guiding Hope through Carter's lingering shadows. Doubts arose, of course. Nights when old insecurities whispered, mornings when Beth's questions pierced like arrows, but they faced them head-on. Therapy sessions and date nights fortifying their foundation. Steffy's warning echoed, a talisman against complacency. Get it right this time. And they did, one deliberate step at a time, their love a bold, beautiful testament to redemption's power.